Statement continued.
This is not the first occurrence where Rex and Kristy Perry have abused or taken advantage of me. Rex Perry had just gotten home one day with Kristy Perry, and then came into the living room at the back of the house at the address of my family's residence, and approached me with rage in his eyes and anger in his tone. This frightened me because I was not sure what he was upset about. I was also frightened because Rex Perry is a violent person. He constantly verbally abuses Kristy Perry and my siblings. As Rex approached, Kristy approached as well at his side. My brother as well as others were present in the living room. Rex continued towards me and Kristy got between us. He was yelling about my medication. Kristy then, without any due process or warning, told me to leave. I told her that she couldn't do that to me. I didn't feel the need to remind her that she couldn't do that due to the fact that I'm mentally disabled, and she must allow me time to do so without violating my rights or neglecting the responsibilities she took on when deciding to continue being my representative payee. Upon me becoming the age of 18, I didn't think I needed to explain to her due to the fact that she has had knowledge of my disability since I was 5 years of age. When I was checked in, I believe by the state to College Hospital. I believe the College Hospital located in San Diego, CA. She was my representative payee. Representative since the age of 5. She is the person who collected my social security income SSI at the time and was responsible for distributing it to the necessary places such as rent, food, transportation, MISC, expenses, bills, and then the rest is to be saved in an account. I learned all this after going to the Social Security office with my current representative payee some that she could become my payee. Back to what I was saying, Rex was yelling. Kristy told me to leave. I told her she couldn't make me just leave with notice, or without making available some sort of shelter or dwelling. Rex then pushed Kristy in the attempt to force his way past her. My brother stood up, and I stepped forward. I said to Rex, "Don't push my mom." He then pushed past her the rest of the way, and swung his closed fist at me a total of 5 times. The first 4 did not come into contact with any part of my body. However, the 5th attempt was fruitful. Rex's closed fist stuck me on the side of my face on the right side. I couldn't see what my brother was doing or where he was. Rex then exited the living room with Kristy following closely behind him. Rex left quickly from the room, and being that his room and the kitchen are at the front of the house, I was in fear that he may do one of 3 things. One of the thoughts going through my mind was he may have a gun in his bedroom, and that he was speeding away to retrieve it before I could get out of the house. Another thought going through my mind was that perhaps he might attempt to go to the kitchen or garage, which is accessed through the kitchen, for some other form or type of weapon, due to the fact that he has stated to myself and my siblings multiple times that if Kristy ever got found dead, that it was him. Lastly, I thought he might go out to his truck for the automatic switchblade he carries in his map pocket. So, I attempted to exit the house through the office, which leads to the hall and finally to the front door. When I exited the office door and entered into the hallway, he was approaching the office door. He advanced to my position and got into my personal space, doing so in a threatening manner. He then began taunting, antagonizing, and calling me names. He called me such names as pussy, bitch. He asked me such things as, "What are you going to do, little crybaby bitch? Hit me, huh?" Then said ha ha to me. Once I saw the opportunity and a big enough space to fit through, I walked past him and out of the front door into the yard. I went towards the street as officers were approaching in patrol cars. The officers parked their vehicles in the street and exited the vehicles. That is when Kristy exited the front door. Kristy saw the police and exclaimed it was him. It was him. He hit him, first pointing at myself, and then to Rex, who was now standing in the threshold of the front door of the house, to signify that I was the one who assaulted Rex. I looked back towards Kristy in anger and disbelief and said, "Are you fucking serious, bitch?" The officer then told me to sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. I looked back to him and said, "She's lying." In order to get in control of the situation, he told me, "I don't care, sit down and shut up or I'll arrest you right now." He then approached Kristy and Rex and began talking to the both of them. Another officer stayed with me at the place where I was seated on the west side of the orange tree, which is in the front yard at the residence. While they had their discussion, I could not hear what was said after this point. After their discussion was complete, I was finally handcuffed and taken to one of the responding officers' cruiser, and was placed in the back seat. I was then informed that I had violated a restraining order, and that I would be going to jail. Then I was driven to the Garden Grove Police Department, where I was processed, and was told that there was no current restraining order, and that I would be released shortly after. Following the completion of the process, I was in the jail holding tank for approximately 3 hours. I was then released and walked to the Octa bus stop for the bus headed westbound. I hadn't any money, so I just sat there and waited. I was waiting for the bus in hopes that I might be able to ask for a ride and be successful. As I was waiting, I saw Kristy driving eastbound and approaching the intersection. As she approached, she activated her left-hand turning signal and entered the left-hand turning lane. She waited for the light, however didn't notice me. Once the light changed to signal her right of way, she turned, and that's when I lost sight of her. I waited for the bus, and eventually one of the drivers allowed me to ride.